Welcome back everyone, it is Mike from ManaHoarders. In this video we are bringing you a commander deck tech for an Esper commander, Nevinyrral, Urborg, Tyrant. You can cast Nevinyrral for 3, a white, a blue, and a black. He is a 3/6 zombie wizard with hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Whenever he enters the battlefield, we will create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn, and whenever he dies we can pay 1 to destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Before we dive into the deck, let's go over a few key points. First up, the final price for this build came in at $63.16. This does include the price of our commander and all of our lands. Now do bear in mind some of these prices will vary greatly depending on the quality of the cards you purchase, the vendor you use, and a variety of other factors. In terms of power level, I would rate this deck at around a 6 out of 10 on the power scale. We are going to be running an aristocrat style build, so we have plenty of creatures that we want to sacrifice or cause to die to generate tons of value. We have a few different ways to pump up our tokens to generate value off of those when they're created, and if we get into a pinch we can sacrifice Nevinyrral, pay 1 to wipe the board. If we need to, we can do this continuously and then cheat him out of our graveyard, making it difficult for our opponents to build up a board presence. We have 4 legends that will be helping out our commander. Endrick Sar, Master Breeder. Whenever we cast a creature spell, we will get X 1/1 black thralls, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. Whenever we have 7 or more thralls, we will have to sacrifice them though, but these are going to be perfect blockers and easy sacrifice fodder. Sir Conrad, an excellent piece to deal damage to all of our opponents whenever another creature dies or is put into the graveyard from anywhere, or whenever a creature leaves our graveyard. An absolute beast, Teysa Karlov. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent we control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time, and creature tokens we control have vigilance and lifelink. And a new one from Commander Legends, Tormod the Desecrator. Whenever one or more cards leave our graveyard, we will get a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. And next up for our creatures, we have some token generators. Aven Eternal, whenever it enters we can amass 1. Aven Wind Guide will give creature tokens we control flying and vigilance. Aviation Pioneer, whenever it enters we will get a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token. Doomed Dissenter, whenever it dies we'll get a 2/2 black zombie. Doomed Traveler will give us a 1/1 white spirit. Eternal Skylord, when it enters we can amass 2, and zombie tokens we control will have flying. Eye Blight Colors, another new one from Commander Legends. When it dies, we will get 3 1/1 Green Elf Warrior creature tokens, and we will mill 3. Hunted Witness, when it dies, we'll get a 1/1 White Soldier creature token. Imperious Oligarch, it has Afterlife 1. When it dies, we'll get a 1/1 White and Black Spirit creature token with flying. Ministrant of Obligation has Afterlife 2, so we will get 2 of the spirits. Orzhov Enforcer will give us 1 of the spirits when it dies. Rakshasa Gravecaller, whenever it enters, we can exploit by sacrificing a creature, and if we do, we'll get 2 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. And Sangir Autocrat, whenever it enters, we will get 3 0/1 black surf creature tokens. And for the remainder of our creatures, Butcher of Malakir. Whenever Butcher of Malakir or another creature we control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Carrion Feeder, we can sacrifice a creature to put a 1/1 counter on it. Doomed Necromancer, we can pay a black, tap it, and sacrifice it to return target creature from our graveyard to the battlefield. Fleshbag Marauder, whenever it enters, each player will sacrifice a creature. We will be including good old Mr. Gary. Whenever it enters, each opponent loses X, where X is our devotion to black, and we will gain life equal to the life lost this way. Pitiless Plunderer, whenever another creature we control dies, we will get a treasure. Pitiless Pontiff, for 1, we can sacrifice another creature, and it will get Death Touch and indestructible until end of turn. Plaguecrafter, whenever it enters, each player will sacrifice a creature, and each player who can't discards a card. Revelark, whenever it leaves the battlefield, we can return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. Smothering Abomination will give us some card draw whenever we are sacrificing our creatures. Vindictive Vampire, whenever another creature we control dies, will deal 1 damage to each opponent and we will gain 1 life. Viscera Seer will give us a sacrifice outlet. We can sacrifice a creature to scry 1. Moving on to our artifacts. Arcane Signet can tap to give 1 mana of any color of our commander's color identity. Ashnod's Altar, an absolute beast in this deck. We can sacrifice a creature to add 2 colorless mana to our mana pool. Soul Ring will tap to give us 2 colorless mana. And Witch's Cauldron, we can pay 1 in the black to tap it and sacrifice a creature. We will gain 1 life and draw a card. For our enchantments, we have Bastion of Remembrance. When it enters, we will get a 1/1 white human soldier creature token, and whenever a creature we control dies, each opponent will lose 1 and we will gain 1. Black Market, whenever a creature dies, it'll get a charge counter, and then at the beginning of our pre-combat main phase, we'll get a black mana for each charge counter on Black Market. Fallen Ideal, we will enchant a creature, and it has flying, and we can sacrifice a creature to give it +2/+1. Then whenever Fallen Ideal is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, we can return it to our hand. Gift of Immortality. When the enchanted creature dies, it will be returned to the battlefield, and then we will return Gift of Immortality to the battlefield attached to it at the beginning of the next end step. Kaya's Ghost form. Whenever the enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, we can return it to the battlefield under our control. Liliana's Mastery. Zombies we control get +1/+1. When it enters, we will get 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Open the Graves. Whenever a non-token creature we control dies, we will get a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Unholy Indenture. Whenever the enchanted creature dies, we'll get it back to the battlefield and it'll have a 1/1 counter on it. For our sorceries, Blood for Bones, we can sacrifice a creature, return a creature from our graveyard to the battlefield, and then another one to our hand. Bone Splinters, we can pay 1 black, sack a creature to destroy target creature. Command the Dread Horde, we can choose any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers in graveyards. Command the Dread Horde will deal damage to us equal to the converted mana cost of those cards, and then we'll put them onto the battlefield under our control. Disentomb, we can return target creature from our graveyard to our hand. Kaya's Wrath will destroy all creatures and we will gain life equal to the number of creatures we control that were destroyed this way. Victimize, we can choose 2 target creatures in our graveyard, we can sack a creature, and then if we do, we can return them to the battlefield tapped. We will be including plenty of instants to keep our opponents guessing. Abnormal Endurance, whenever their creature dies, we will return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Aetherize, we can return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. Costly Plunder, as an additional cost we can sack a creature or an artifact to draw 2. Deliberate, we can scry 2 and then draw 1. Despark, we can exile target permanent with converted mana cost 4 or greater. Doomblade will destroy target non-black creature. Ephemerate, we can exile target creature we control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It also has a rebound. Essence Flux will do much the same thing. Essence Scatter, we can counter target creature spell. Flicker of Fate, we can exile target creature or enchantment, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Mana Leak will counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Mortify will destroy target creature or enchantment. Negate can counter target non-creature spell. Opt, we can scry 1 and then draw a card. Supernatural Stamina, until end of turn, whenever the creature dies, we can return it to the battlefield under its owner's control tapped. Ultimate Price will destroy target mono-colored creature. Village Rites, we can sacrifice a creature to draw 2 cards. And last but not least is our mana base. We'll be including 10 basic islands, 11 basic plains, and 14 basic swamps. And just like that, we have reached the end of another Commander Deck Tech. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and leave a comment down below. Let us know what commanders you would like to see us build around in the future. We really appreciate the support.